we're going to be doing a demonstration of Stella's pierogies today for you, just so you can see how I cook them at home. So I have about like a large medium skillet, a non-stick skillet, and with a cover. That's not the right lid, but I wanted to use a glass one, so hopefully you could kind of see how they cook as I'm making them. So I'm going to turn my heat on high, remove the lid, and I'm going to add, there's a cup of water in here, but I'm going to add, yeah, probably about 3/4 to a cup in here. It's not a very big skillet, and I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil as well. You can use coconut oil, butter, any kind of oil. So I'm going to throw that on there and just let it get to a boiling point. Usually doesn't take very long because there's not very much in there. So that was probably, yeah, it's getting kind of bubbly. So what I'm going to do is just grab a spatula, and I'm going to throw, let's say, we'll do that many. It's good to not overlap them and overcrowd your pan, because if you overcrowd your pan, as they start to cook, they will absorb the moisture, so they will expand, and then they kind of stick together if you've got too many in there. So just kind of lay them in there, and now we wait. I leave the heat on high for a little bit because I've just taken off the lid, so that'll bring the temperature down. So you can hear it to start boiling again. So I turn it down to a medium heat, 6, 7, it depends on, and you can see I don't play with them. I just let the xanthan gum do their thing. Make sure that they're not stuck together. I don't check on them. And then I cover the lid and just let them cook. So it's been about 2 minutes probably now. I give it another couple minutes before I flip them, because you want them to bind and you want them to stay together. If you play with them, they will fall apart. You want to let them cook, especially in those first 2-3 minutes. I know it's hard to not leave them because you always want to check on them. but leaving them is the best thing to do. There's lots of moisture still in there. You can see the steam. So they're kind of cooking the top as well. And don't worry about how much water you put in and how much you don't put in, as long as you have moisture. Obviously, if you have a bigger, large skillet, like a Black & Decker skillet almost, you could do a whole bag of 15, 16, and you could put in, you know, probably a cup and a half of water, but just gauge it. There just has to be moisture in there. If they're done cooking and you still have water left over, just spill it out, add a little bit more oil, and if you want onions or spinach or mushrooms to fry up with them at the end, that's fine too. But definitely let them just steam for that first couple minutes. Alright, so I'm going to take the lid off, and as you can see, there is still, I probably maybe put too much water in, but it all depends on how many pierogies you cook at a time, how big your skillet is, so it is definitely something that you have to gauge. And I'm just going to give them a little flip, and these were made, let me see, I think they were made in April. So now I'm just going to put the lid back on, and if you do have a little bit of moisture too added, or you have too much, you can always just leave the side open and let the steam escape too a little bit. So those are definitely getting soft and cooking up nice. They're not sticking together, they're not spilling out, they're just doing their thing. So also, if they have been dehydrated or a little bit thawed and then refrozen, if you allow them to steam covered for that first couple minutes, those little hairline cracks or the damage that was done in the dehydration of the thawing between transport and all kinds of things, they will seal back up if you just leave them and don't play with them, and just add a little bit of water so they have moisture so they don't stick. So I've definitely added too much water. I usually use a bigger skillet, but I didn't have a clear lid for it. So I'm going to drain some of it out, but still leave a little bit in. And then I'm going to add a little bit of butter. I just have to put this down because I can't cook and get it off my spoon. So I just added a little bit of vegan butter and my onions. And I'm going to turn the heat down just a little bit because there isn't so much moisture in. And now, oops, I'm going to fry them up because I have all boys, so they like them crispy and fried. I have some onions here. So that is how I do it. Yeah, if you don't like them fried, just omit that last part where I added some butter to it, and you can just take them out after they have steam fried. Little bit of oil if you wanted to add some veggies to it. Some people like adding meat to it, or like I said, spinach, mushrooms, all kinds of things. But yeah, that's how I do it at home. And I believe these ones the cake said they were manufactured in April. So they've been in my freezer at home for a couple months for sure. And I'm not always so great about, yeah, getting them in the freezer. I should practice what I preach, but I find if I just leave them that first couple minutes and let them do their thing and don't bug them, as long as there's moisture in that pan and it's covered, they will seal back up and you won't have your filling oozing out. So I really hope this helps, guys. Take care. Thank you.